So, my name is Sharia Smith,
Sharia Smith.
soon to be Smith.
Soon to be Smith.
We're speaking that into existence.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, also to protect my family because I've never done anything like this before.
Don't women use that a lot? I've never done anything like this before.
We do, because I have too many thoughts about that. We're going to put a pin in that. Okay, one thing at a time. So my name is Sharia Smith. I'm from Hawaii. I'm 28 years old, and but I feel like I'm 25. I turned 25 at the beginning of COVID, like legit March 2020. So I kind of missed out on some peak, like, just like traveling and like.
Oh, you're saying because you turned 25 during COVID?
Like March 2020 was my 25th birthday, and COVID, right? Washington, first place.
Got you.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I was born and raised in Hawaii. Went to the mainland, that's what we call it, the mainland for college, to get my degree in fashion merchandising.
Let me start you from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are a Hawaiian, like full.
So what people don't understand is there is a difference between being like, like Hawaiian or like Washingtonian, Oregonian, whatever. Like, I am culturally Hawaiian, but I am not native Hawaiian. So there is a difference, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't really understand.
So are you saying like your blood is not Hawaiian?
Correct.
What is your blood?
To my knowledge.
Okay, right.
Because I've never done I've always wanted to do like the ancestry thing, but Japanese, Okinawan, Filipino, and Scottish. And the thing with that is some people also don't understand that there is a difference between Japanese and Okinawan. For me,
Mind you, I'm going to cut you off a number of times.
Go right ahead. Yes.
So
you cut me off whenever you want. I got a business degree, so I get it.
On that one, okay. And I like that you know that, because I often remind people that in business, it's not like you don't work at
We're not trying to cut you off. We're just like trying to filter through the info.
Right. We got to get through. Absolutely. Okay. So you grew up you were born and raised in Hawaii.
Correct.
But your blood may be Filipino, Japanese, and Scottish.
Yes.
Okay. And what family were you born into? Mother, father? What was the structure of your family?
I actually come from a really, really great family.
Okay.
I was lucky enough, I'm probably going to cry, lucky enough to have both mom and dad. And I have two older brothers, and daddy, I'm the third son you always wanted. We were definitely raised like twins/triplets. I mean, like 2, 4, 6, 2 years apart.
So you have two older brothers.
Correct.
You're the youngest child.
I am the youngest child, and I'm the only girl, and I'm the last one. And daddy wanted more kids, but mom said no.
Okay, so firstborn is female, and another two are male.
Well, I am the youngest, but I can function in every role there is in society. I'm mom, I'm dad, I'm sister, I'm brother, I'm mother, every patriarch and matriarch of the freaking world. I'm every leading lady and every leading man.
You're both male and female.
Actually, yes.
Okay.
So, one thing about Hawaiian culture is, and this will be very, very unpopular of me to say, but I don't give a shit.
Okay.
Your girl's been hiding for 28 years, and she is now I'm about to be thrust into the spotlight now. So in Hawaiian culture, I guess if you want to call it like energy, there's like female energy.
Oh,
and
hell nah.
male energy.
Nah. Here we go. Here we go. Boy.
And like my native Hawaiian friends totally correct me if I'm wrong, because I just this is just something like I've experienced, but I believe that's called mahu, which is where you kind of have right. Actually, let's just make this a little biological, okay, people, because everything
let's get
is
biological.
connected.
Go
So
ahead.
your girl is 28. She has PCOS, which stands for polycystic ovary syndrome, which is a fancy way to say hormone imbalance.
Polycystic
ovary syndrome. Yeah.
For the slow people in the back, and that's me. Hit me with that one more again.
polycystic ovary syndrome. Which is
what the heck
you're
is
like, what
that?
the f is that?
In a real way.
Actually, case studies, schools who want a case study, your girl is right here.
Okay.
So it's basically just a fancy way to say that you have a hormone imbalance.
Okay.
And men of the world, you better pay attention.
Yeah.
Ladies, pay attention too, because so many things. Okay, write it in. So what that means is that I have a hormone imbalance. I am very in tune with my body, and I have been probably since I was 7 years old.
7 years old. When does this hormone imbalance start? Or
so I have not had regular periods since they started, and I believe that's called since menarche. That right? Around
when
13,
did they start?
11 to 13.
11 to 13.
Right? But the hormones, they start coming between, depending on your family history, right? Like, I would say maybe like 4th to 6th grade, like the hormones started coming. It's like, right, training bra.
And when you said you haven't had regular periods, so you had a period.
So I got my first period in like the 7th or 8th grade. I actually got it around the same time as my middle school bestie. That's funny. And it was like, hey, womanhood, yay. But it's like middle school is a middle school, and I'm a weirdo. I loved middle school. I was doing great in middle school. Like drama club and student council.
I can see you enjoying some drama.
I mean, look at my face, right?
Okay, so what is that about though? Clue us in.
Yes. Yeah. Welcome to the one-woman variety show that is Sharia. So people have been looking at me like I'm some sort of threat. And because I was away from home for 10 years, and I'm like, family, I love you, but there is a reason I did not want to come home, okay? And because all of this is super fresh, and my family has no idea that I'm even doing this, right? When you're 28 years old and you realize that your family has everybody in the world has been taking advantage of your purity, your innocence, your niceness, your kindness, your everything. Why? Because I choose to see the best in every single person that I meet. And when you cross me, done. And that's right, here comes the PCOS. I have too much testosterone, I have too much estrogen, and I have too much cortisol coursing through my veins, right? Megan Thee Stallion has that song about how like she doesn't have a race because she be eating her haters. Oh, I have never had this body type in my whole life. Like I'm either like an upside down, that's not upside down. I'm either top heavy or I'm bottom heavy because sports, right? And girls, when you are really active in sports, right, there's a lot of stress. So the reason I didn't have regular periods in high school and middle school is because I was really active, and so the stress was like, right, adrenaline and cortisol.
So it messed with your period. Now you said you have high levels of testosterone.
Yes.
And was that just from the?
I'm not really sure. So here's the thing about PCOS. There's not a lot of research about it, and that kind of stuff is coming out. There's like naturopathic medicine and then conventional medicine, which is like, bro, pills, and this is like, oh, don't do anything. And then there's this thing called functional medicine. Like, it's like a combination of like.
Let me take you back real quick, because we kind of skipped that. Okay, so you said you grew up in Hawaii.
Yes.
You had two parents. You had two older brothers, and then eventually you had moved out for university. Because we had a very brief interaction. We just first met maybe like an hour or two ago. But one thing you had said is that struck me is that you said like you had been abused your whole life.
See, I didn't know that until about 2 to 3 weeks ago. Okay. So.
Now that sounds strange. You've been abused your whole life, but you didn't know that 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Let me just paint the picture of my family of origin for you. Love you, family. Okay, if you ever see this, I love my family. My grandma is my favorite person in the entire world, and actually, this is her ring.
Okay.
And I know exactly who this ring belongs to in the future. And he is so worthy of this ring. My grandma would love him. But in Asian households, there are a lot of rules and regulations, particularly for safety and protection. And right, so we have very strong matriarch.
Not a patriarch, a matriarch.
Yes.
Okay.
All the patriarchs of my family passed away before I turned 15.
Okay.
So,
including your father. Your father
no. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Grandpa Ramon.
Ramon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oldest of 13. Okay. Filipino. Okay.
Right. Shout out to the Filipinos. I'm gonna pause you for a second. Think about a sharp answer to explaining how you were abused your whole life.
Yes.
While you're doing that, I'm going to acknowledge the folks who have supported the work. I want to shout out to Mr. Chapman. He writes, I was 4 hours into that 5-hour live session you did recently. Absolute classic. Tuition to the big homie. Would you consider doing a live session breakdown of your wardrobe, selecting fabrics / styles,
yeah. You should
and
do
how
that.
to put together outfits?
I can help you.
Peace to the saints. That might be something I would consider. You know what, the suit game is tremendo, so I might have to do that.
I got a guy.
I might have to do that.
I got a guy, and I'm a great shopper for men. Let me tell you. Why? Because men's clothes fit me better.
Shout out to Christopher. He writes, tuition for the upcoming live P mini blessings. So he's talking about this one right here. Shout out to Ken. He writes, can't make it. Support for a long session. Appreciate you. Shout out to the real one supporting the work. And okay, back to you. Why or how?
So, here's the thing that people don't understand about humans. I was born out of trauma. Both sides of my families, lots of just happening in the world, right? They were raised in the born in the 60s, raised in the 70s and 80s, and there was a lot of shit that happened in the world, right? So the generational trauma, here you are, born into trauma, Sharia, which actually means God is my friend or God is my song.
Okay. So you're saying that both sides of your family, mother and father, were experiencing trauma?
Yes. Okay. Middle children act like the oldest.
So then you're born.
Right. So I'm born into that.
All right.
And we've got, here's our small family dynamic. Mom and dad, 3 kids. 6, 4, 2, right? You got, right? That's a lot. That's a lot of energy, right? And so when you have 2 hard-working, middle-class parents. My mom was a teacher, and she just retired after 40 years of teaching. And I will not go into some of that because I have thoughts that would really hurt my family if I said them online. Daddy's a small business owner and has been his whole life. And there was a reason I did not want to take.
What business is he in?
Shout out to Ono Cones of Hawaii. Hello.
So what do they?
We make ice cream cones.
Oh, word.
So we took over the business
from pistachio.
We only manufacture cones.
Oh, cones. And
yes.
You're manufacturing
my goal, actually, I would love to have a food truck or some shit like that.
Okay.
Or to partner with small businesses in Hawaii.
Okay, I don't want to send you off the rails.
No.
So you have a mother who's a teacher,
yes.
which is teachers are generally either kind people or complete perverts, having sex with students. And then you have a father who's a small business owner.
Yes.
And so that doesn't sound traumatic or abusive at all.
Correct.
To me.
Correct.
Me know.
That's right. Great family. However, there are some scars that you do not see until you are either out of said trauma. So the other part of me is I have PTSD for my whole life.
Okay.
I didn't know. So your girl has been second best to everyone in the world.
In your family or everyone in the world?
We'll say family. First child. Experiment child. You on Moody uncle. And you are totally a middle child. But you were the first one. Mm-hmm. Second child. Oh, Parais, golden child, super jock, everything, big personality, everybody loves you. Oh my gosh. And who had to follow in your footsteps? This. Okay.
Have you ever been, or you're just saying that?
I'm just saying that.
Okay.
Because, right, we use humor to.
Fair enough.
Right?
Would you ever be a?
To be fair, I probably don't actually know the definition of a.
Fair enough. Let me go ahead and define it.
Yeah, define it.
A hoe is a woman who uses her either directly or indirectly to gain money, and typically turns that over to a pimp.
Well, let's just say that my dollar sign is infinity. So I'm like, baby, we need to be legally married so you can protect my physical assets and our financial assets. Because of who we are, people will come for our money, and I ain't having that shit.
Got you. Okay. All right. Now tell me about this this abuse. Are you saying that you just didn't feel like you measured up, or what exactly?
Oh, everything. Sharia, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're too much and not enough at the same time. That double standard. Like,
Were your parents telling you this, or were you feeling this?
A little bit of both. So here's the thing. I love you. I love you so much, Mom and Dad. You did not present a united front as parents. So you taught us as kids how to emotionally manipulate people. I know how to use my words and my body to get what I want. However, that is called manipulation. That's called being deceitful. And I hate that.
What do you mean you know how to use your body to get what you want?
Let's just say that multiple people in my life have touched my body when there was no consent, and hear me out on this one because it's a really tender subject.
Okay.
Because of things that I did just so innocently, like I was always helping somebody or I was always doing this. There was one time where my parents thought I was lost. And I thought I told everybody where I was. I was in my teacher's classroom helping her clean up. My parents thought that they lost me. So they were like, you can't do that. And I was like, you mean I can't help people? And it was like, no. It was the, we have to know where you are at all times, kind of like safety thing. Because
so was it a female teacher?
Well, that's my mom. Oh yes, it was a female teacher. But so my name is actually a song. So shout out to Amy Grant. That's how I got my name. That whole album, Unguarded, 1985, so good.
So now when you said
they played that song for me.
Experiences that were not consensual.
Oh, yeah.
Was that with your teacher?
No.
Okay. Who was that with?
I will not disclose that at this time just to protect those individuals because they themselves do not know.
So they did things with you that were not consensual, but they do not know that those things were not consensual.
Correct. And because if right, this is about to be online, which is fine. But in order to protect those people, I will not reveal their identity. But, yeah, I didn't.
Is it possible to, so would you say like they assaulted you or?
If we call it what it is, I was basically molested.
Oh, so you were a child?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Like what age of a child
I would
say
say
you were?
probably between maybe 4 and 10.
Age 4 and 10.
I'm not actually sure.
Right.
I don't really remember the ages, but I remember the experience because I'm a very emotional person, and I have been since I was a little girl.
Yes.
And because the 3 men who were supposed to be emotionally close to me, they didn't protect me. And so
Were they the ones that hurt you, or they just were the ones who failed to protect you?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both, yes.
With some guys, not all guys, it's really hard to talk about emotions. And so men, do not be afraid to cry, because one, do not be afraid to cry, and two, some of us, you want to stop me? Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that if someone suffers non-consensual experiences as a child, that it's going to cause them to have mental health issues?
Oh, it's very possible. Let's just say that I have had a brief experience in every mental health issue, or whatever you want to call it, struggle, learning disability, like anything on the psychiatric spectrum. I have had a brief experience in all of them. Why? Because my job has always been to protect and love fiercely. That is who I am. I fall in love hard and fast, and I can fall out of love just as quickly.
So when would you say you had your first experience of a mental health issue?
Oh, I've actually been experiencing it my whole life, but I didn't know until I basically had a psychotic break, actually about a year ago around this time. What's today's date, actually?
Thursday, November 9, 2023.
Could have been around this time, because last year, so around Thanksgiving, I remember having a job interview, and I actually thought I did really well. I had a great conversation with this person, and I'm like, yeah, we doing the thing. And then I remember, and so I was working at home. So all throughout COVID, like totally blessed by my former company. Love them. Great place to work, and just
real quick, shout out to
yes.
T. He comes in by Cash App. He writes, getting my 30 minutes, supporting the work. Truly appreciate those of you supporting this very interesting, unique conversation. And we appreciate you being very candid with us.
Oh, yes, of course.
Taking us into your life. You know, people may wonder why we do these interviews. These interviews are because as a human being, we only get to live one life. And when we get to talk to other people who have different experiences, it's like living multiple lives. Yes.
Right? It's
yes,
not
indeed.
just, right? Everybody thinks that the spectrum is some sort of dichotomy. Like.
But you were saying you had a psychotic breakdown last year. What is a psychotic breakdown? So
there is a difference between psychiatry and psychology.
Right.
So,
but what's a psychotic breakdown?
A psychotic break is, so let me just go a little bit into the difference so psychiatry is really just like actually mental health. And those, you know, psychotherapists and other people got really bad raps because, we're not going to go into that. Oh, Freud. And psychology is more like about the brain, like there's like brain health and then there's like mental health. And so psychology is a little bit more like brain health, about like, you know, you should exercise because exercise gives you endorphins, right? Reese Witherspoon, Legally Blonde, endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't shoot their husbands, you know? Like, right, exercise is important. Eating right is important because for good brain health, but also psychiatry is like, what is actually on your plate? What, like, live, work, and play, right? That's kind of like the psychiatry piece. And so for me, my job in anything that I do is to be the calm in the storm.
What was your psychotic break?
I was having a really hard time, like, I didn't want to, so I was living in Seattle, and this was about like 10 years in, and Seattle spiritually is a very, very dark place. However,
agree.
When you have a good community and you have good friends and people who will go the extra mile for you.
Real quick, shout out to Perry. He writes, she seems to be resistant to the Dr. Phil method.
I can be Dr. Phil. I can be Brené Brown. My goal is to be Hawaiian Oprah. So let's go. Okay, bring me back. I get distracted so
no
easily.
Worries. I understand that. Yeah. And I remember before we had started, you said, which I really respected, which was unique. You said, ask me anything. I have nothing to hide. And I feel like so many people are hiding, and that's part of why they're not
everybody
happy.
is hiding. Everybody wears a mask. That's why we come to places like Vegas, and we,
Right.
Like, I'm Halloween every day.
So, you're Halloween every day. So what would you say has been the most challenging thing in your life? Like the most challenging
the last year of my life has been a whole
experience. What's one experience that you felt like?
Let's just say the last 3 months of my life have been really intense attacks of people. I love you all, and you know exactly who you are. You have all been low-key harassing me, right? I feel like this is the path, and I'm gonna keep going, Jesus, until you say no, or until like I sense that this is not where you're leading me. And it's like, boom, 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 doors closed. You're still open. Okay, let me just one step at a time.
So you're living in Las Vegas now?
I'm living wherever my future boo wants to live. Okay. Because wherever he is, I'm home.
Got you.
Where'd
you meet him?
When or where? Or both?
How? How did you meet him?
How? Oh, let me tell you this. So, this would be boy number, backtrack. Boy number 1, 5 years, boo. And you got everything, and I got nothing. So, bye, bitch. Boy number 2, you're going to be my work husband. And you don't know it yet, but you kind of do. Because you're actually first cousins with boy number 1. Boy number 3, met him in Vegas probably a couple weeks now. And like, when you meet Black Jesus and Black DJ on the elevator, you're like, well, those homies was lost, okay? I love the two of you, like you're my own brothers. But you guys just decided to cancel me, and that's fine. But if you don't return my property, I will sue a and then came the Music Man jukebox of my dreams.
So you can actually sing?
Yes, I can.
Okay, give me a little song real quick.
You're gonna have to. I have so many songs in my brain all the
one.
time. I can buy myself flowers. Na, 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 na. That was pitchy, but it's fine. Wait. Your girl is a Disney, Demi Lovato is my music queen, and Joe Jonas is my music king.
Go ahead.
I have so many songs in my head all the time.
Just give me one.
This is real, this is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. Gonna let the light shine on me.
Okay, you was doing something. All right, you were doing something.
Yeah. Your girl was raised on the golden age of Disney. And plug in for Disney.
Disney's kind of crazy now, though.
They are a little cray-cray, but
crazy now.
I do not have formal acting or singing or music training.
You just go.
I was in drama club and student council.
I believe you were in drama club. Shout out to Blaine. He writes, peace to the Saints. Props for an interesting show. Absolutely. And another question for you.
Yeah.
Who in the hell abused you?
Every person in my family, every friend that not every friend.
Everyone. Okay. So you said you were a victim of assault. What happened? Like the earliest thing, what's one thing that happened?
We were just kids. We didn't know any better. And this happens a lot in Filipino cultures because in the Philippines, there's just a lot of prowess energy there. Anywhere,
that's
anywhere where there's human trafficking, and I will dismantle that shit.
That is true.
Because that needs to stop. Is everywhere where there is a resort destination. Las Vegas, Brazil, Medellin, New York, LA, any sanctuary city, any.
But you weren't in Philippines, you were in Hawaii.
Correct, but my goal is to go to every quote unquote nation that I'm from, and I've been to Japan and I've been to the Philippines twice.
Yes. Do you think that when you experience that kind of a trauma, you suppress it? You won't? Like you can't talk about it?
No, I mean, it's different for everybody. In terms of me, I'm kind of like a forgive and forget sort of person. And what I mean by that is like, forgiveness is a choice, okay? And when you choose to hold on.
I think you've been on the forget side strong.
Yes.
I'll tell you why. I'll
tell
you
you
why
totes.
I say that. Because, like, for example, I heard a therapist say this one time. I thought it was fascinating. He said a lot of persons who state that they're LGBTQ, they've been victim of abuse in childhood.
That's why they are in domestic partnerships.
What do you mean?
Okay, I will only speak for me and my family and what I have witnessed, because my life is history will repeat itself if you do not learn, and things happen every 10, 20, stuff happens in the decades, okay?
So as I was saying, the therapist pointed out that people who say they're LGBTQ today, they experience trauma in their childhood.
Very possible.
And he says when people say things like, I'm born gay, he says you're not actually born gay, it's just that they won't acknowledge the trauma, the trauma
and
that
sometimes there's like this disassociation in your brain, because your brain is trying to protect you from that trauma.
Right. So instead of saying, you know, my uncle touched me, or my father did this to me, or my brother did this.
And the other thing is, they might not actually know.
That's possible too.
Yeah.
It happens so early in life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was
correct.
like, I mean, I remember that happening, but I didn't know that was wrong until 3 weeks ago.
Well, see, 3 weeks ago you was 28, right?
I'm still 28.
Right.
I'm 28 and a half or some shit like that.
Yes, that's a little bit late.
Exactly.
I
right,
think
the forgetting part.
You're right about that piece wherein they experience that trauma so early. A, they might not remember it. B, they might not know it's wrong. And then
or it was just so traumatizing. It's like,
it gets suppressed. And so this whole story of I was born gay is not the truth. The real story is I was molested by a father, an uncle, or a cousin, a stepdad.
Here's the other thing.
What's the other thing?
I have a few family members that are in domestic partnerships, and I have really good friends that are sexual. And
real quick, shout out to Jamal. He writes, I would love to see you continue a series like this. Hopefully more people will decide to support. Yeah, you know, if people support, we'll definitely continue on, because I think this could be, you know, very beneficial in terms of hearing how people end up where they end up.
Yeah,
whether
I love
it's
those
tremendous
stories.
Success or struggle, and we get to learn resilience and perspective. So hopefully people do support, and we can, you know, tell some amazing stories. Now, you said you have a lot of friends.
Yes, I do.
Tell me more.
So here's the thing about, I think, just like Hawaiian culture in general. So what most people don't understand about mythology is that, right, either Roman, Norse, Greek, right, let's just say Athena, okay? I don't know a lot about Greek mythology, but Athena is the goddess of war, strategy, some shit like that. And I think she was supposed to be with Poseidon, but then Medusa was involved, and that's Little Mermaid right there, okay?
So if someone asks you a straight question and then you don't answer it,
oh, sorry,
do you think that makes you a liar, or does it just mean that someone's addressing trauma?
It could be. I don't think it makes someone a liar.
Right.
I tend to use different types of analogies to explain what I mean, because every time I say something straight out, people are like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, okay, well, if I tell you.
That's ironic, because usually when you say it straight out, you know, that's, people understand it. Shout out to Brother Kudo.
People have been misunderstanding this girl her whole life.
You know what? I tell you what, I do believe that. Do you still keep in contact with your parents?
I am currently not talking to my family because so I don't actually know what the definition of domestic abuse is. I think domestic, just means like in the home.
Yeah, I think domestic abuse would be abuse occurring within the domicile, within the home, generally physical violence.
Correct. So let me be clear. I was never beat. I don't remember getting spankings, but I'm like, I'm that goody two-shoes child, so, you know.
Okay.
And I had to raise myself, basically.
What makes you think you raised yourself?
Because when there are two working parents, one of the kids, it doesn't matter, parents, it doesn't matter how great you are. If you do not have at least one parent or a nanny or somebody coming alongside you to help you raise your kids, so that's why it takes a village to raise a child. That's why in Muslim culture, they get 5 wives.
Allahu Akbar.
Hey! Right?
Allahu Akbar. 4 wives or less. But yes,
oh yeah. See, I don't know because I'm not.
Allahu Akbar. Yes. So tell me this: do you think it would be better if mothers were stay-at-home mothers? So the father works, the mother stays at home with the kids.
It depends on the couple. So. The great thing about my family, like my family of origin, my mom was a teacher, so we got breaks. And because daddy was a small family business owner.
But you just said that you raised yourself.
Yes. So what I mean by that is very active. Drama club, and then sports and student council. I'm like the poster child for high school success.
May I ask you a series of yes or no questions?
Yes, you may.
I should do a segment, a segment called Yes or No. The women have a tough time with these kind of segments.
Oh, no.
All right. So here's a yes or no series of questions.
Okay.
Maybe I'll give you 5 yes or no questions. All right. You ever watch one of those game shows where they have the music like doo 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 doo? Well, you ain't got that kind of time. So it's a yes or no question. When you were a minor, age 18 or younger, yes or no, were you victim of abuse?
Well. Now that I know, yes, I was.
Okay, yes, I was. All right. Do you believe that it would be better for one parent to work and another parent to be a stay-at-home parent with the child? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, I think those. I'm gonna pause it right now.
Yeah. I can dig deeper into those if you want, but
I feel like you keep going off topic though.
That's because my brain is like this. It's because very businessy and very. I mean, look at my face. I'm creative. I'm not gonna, but PTSD, art and music is my therapy, which is why I mean, like, let me just. There you go. Oh, the mic.
Why do you think that you need therapy?
Everybody needs therapy, okay?
Do you think therapy works?
Oh, yeah.
By therapy, I mean you go into a therapist and they have
So here's the
conversations with
thing.
you?
Love my family. They sent me here because they thought something was physiologically wrong with my brain. And I'm like, you sent...
Oh, so that your brain was messed up.
You sent me to Las Vegas, a single 28-year-old female.
Did you come out here and start busting it open?
I have been coming to Vegas since before I was born, and I'll be walking up and down.
Wait, did you say since before you were born?
Yes.
You said you've been in Vegas before you were born.
Because when I was my mom and dad probably came here before they had me.
Got you. Billionaire writes, I do think she is quite interesting and you have great interviewing skills. I support this and it would be cool to see the different types of people you interview in the future. Yeah, I think it absolutely will be.
I got plenty of friends, don't worry.
And we'll learn a lot. We'll add certain segments to it. I like the yes or no segment. Maybe hit someone with like a nice little 10 question piece.
Oh, like 20 questions?
I think it was 21 questions. Yeah, I think it was 21 questions. But okay, now tell me this. How many, are you a virgin, or I guess you're not a virgin, but how many people have you consensually slept with?
Only one.
You've only slept with one person consensually?
And I met him last week at Denny's.
And you met him last week at Denny's?
Crash landing in a million different ways. And let me tell you, your girl is so physically because she's a steel trap. Okay, because no babies until the master's is done or the PhD. School is important.
Shout out to Pete supporting the work by Cash App. Oh, this is crazy. Okay, so you said you just had consensually for the first time last week with a guy you met at Denny's.
Right? Doesn't that sound like a crazy red flag?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't know Denny's had the hose on deck. Let me know.
Okay, let me just paint this picture for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I was in the ER.
Okay.
I was like, something is wrong. I think I had food poisoning.
Okay.
But if you have never had food poisoning and if you're late on your period, it feels a lot like you get morning sickness or some shit. And I'm like, this is not possible. What the fuck is going on? And now that I know about myself, going to the ER triggers me. If it is after 10 o'clock, I'm not going to the ER. I'm staying home.
Okay, so you're at the ER then?
Yeah,
what?
and I had a panic attack at the ER. So that's fun. Because in every situation, Seattle, I knew what the fuck was going on, but because I could not physically talk, you guys were like, whatever. So they just put me through the system.
All right, so wait, why'd you show up in the ER? Because you had, you thought you had food poisoning, great. And
well,
then
I was just like,
did you get the food poisoning at Denny's? Because I can't mess with
No,
Denny's.
no, the food poisoning was user error.
Okay, wait, what you mean?
It was like the food that was left out overnight that I really
liked. Okay.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
because I have PCOS and my metabolism, like my body is like correcting itself.
Okay.
Like, because it happens, okay? It's correcting itself. So I don't eat a lot. But when I do, I need to eat like, I'm also pre-diabetic. I have like all the symptoms of the world.
You have pre-diabetes. You have a lot of health issues.
Yes, I do.
Mental and physical.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's all connected, people.
You know, it is all connected. And I always tell people, you mentioned some good points earlier. You said exercising is important.
Yes.
It makes you feel good. This is true. I always say exercise is prayer.
It helps ground me. I'm like, hey, therapy, people. It's a thing.
You said therapy?
Yeah.
What you know about therapy?
Baby Boo is he basically healed my entire body just by massaging it. And like.
Okay, so you've been missing out then since you just had for the first time last week. Wow.
See, because people don't understand.
You met Dr. D. Dr. Boots. He done healed you up. That
yeah,
Marvin
he did.
Gaye healing. Okay.
Right?
All right. So now do you feel like if you have sex with someone else that might heal you further?
Here's the thing. I believe that, and I know this is a very unpopular opinion, I have always believed that is designed for marriage. And so right now I'm like, holy shit. I met this guy in Denny's. Let me tell you how I met him. I was talking to I'm like, you are two black boys. Please explain this to me. How Black Jesus and Black DJ just went and dissed me. And why? It's because I came on too strong, which is fine.
Oh, you were trying to holler at them.
No, let's back that train up. Homie was coming at me.
Okay, was your face painted at the time?
No, my face was fresh. They literally met me when I didn't have glasses because I broke these. I had gone to the spa. I never do my nails. I never wax my legs. I dyed my hair.
You said you never wax your legs?
I mean, I do, but I'm not like a treat. That's not how I treat myself. I treat myself to good food, good movies, and good sex.
You keep on saying sex, but you also said that you just had sex for the first time last week.
Yes. And by sex, I mean like
I think
we're all beings, which is why dance is actually really important.
Oh, I actually interviewed someone before, and she said sex can be many different things.
Yes, because it's intercourse. Right. Okay, let's just talk about Vegas, right?
Okay.
Sells, but if you, right? Okay, we're gonna go there. Okay, porn.
Have you ever been in a porn?
No, and I will never be in a porn.
Would you ever do an?
No, I would not.
Okay. Would you ever be in a peep show?
No.
Okay. Would you ever?
Actually, I don't know what a peep show is.
Would you ever let a guy give you $50?
No.
Okay.
Only my baby can give me $50, and I will do whatever the fuck he wants. But he already knows. I'm like, here's the thing. I don't give a shit about dicks. I think they're disgusting.
Wait, how did y'all have sex then? I'm trying to figure this out. How did y'all have sex then?
Here's the thing. Some people don't need actual intercourse to be like fulfilled.
Fulfilled. You got filled, but you ain't get filled with no D. What were you filled with?
Love.
Oh, you were filled with love. Oh, that was so sweet. Oh,
here's the thing.
You got filled with love.
Okay.
Lord Jesus.
Right? Because, right, I thought it was boy number 1, and boy number 2. Oh, no, you're my work husband. Boy number 3. Oh, you and sexy ass mofo. And he was like, see, I don't know when guys are coming on to me because I don't care about that shit. Because I'm like, when he's around, he gonna be around. And a homie was coming on to me real strong.
It sounds like you got too many manses in your life.
I'm sorry. I just collect. I can't help it if the men of the world love me.
Got you. That's deep.
Yeah, deep. I tend to attract
do you know what
community-oriented people.
Okay, so.
And that's a lot of blacks and Hispanics.
Okay, because they in the streets?
Or they're in Vegas. Hey!
Okay, look, so we need to know. The people need to know. We need to understand, because you said that you had for the first time last week.
Yes.
If you had for the first time last week, what specifically did that consist of?
Well,
and don't play games with us.
No.
We ain't playing with you.
I mean,
what specifically did that consist of?
So I have to continue the Denny story. So we
got to go back to Denny's.
Yeah, we got to go back to the date. Okay. All right. So I actually have to be very careful because my boo will not be very happy with certain things.
Nah, go ahead. He don't watch this podcast. Go ahead.
See, but he doesn't like people knowing about his private life because he's so, he is the oldest of 12.
12?
All boys.
Wait, I don't even know if that makes mathematical sense. But anyway, so y'all met at Denny's. This ate a grand slam.
No!
You was in there.
No. Okay, first of all, this was like 5 a.m. Denny's, okay? And this was after I called EMS again because I'm laying in the Denny's bathroom. I'm like, some shit is wrong up in here.
You were laying in the Denny's
bathroom? Yes,
bathroom?
I was. I looked like...
You were laying?
Yes.
Were you on the floor?
On the floor in the bathroom.
Was it pissy on the floor? Or?
No, I was...
Because I feel like the Denny's floor got to be pissy.
Oh, they had cleaned it, so I was like...
Okay, all right.
So, and I was like, there's something wrong. I'm like, something is wrong. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's food poisoning. I'm like, this is also like, okay, ladies, this is why you need to know your anatomy. The stuff that's over here, we're talking like kidney.
That's the kidney.
Spleen, liver,
but what the hell
pancreas.
Does this have to do with your sex with? We ain't trying to hear all this. Did that man run in the Denny's bathroom?
No!
With his D out?
No, he didn't. Because he's a classy ass. Okay.
That boy and ran into Denny's.
No, we are classy.
Okay, what happened?
So and then I'm like, oh, this shit. So then I'm talking to the 2 black brothers. I'm like, explain this shit to me, and they're like,
that's fucking 2 black brothers.
That's messed up. I'm like, yes, it is. Thank you. And then homie, he's a rancher. Okay.
A black rancher.
Gotcha. Ethiopian and Native American.
Right. But just one more time, real quick though. How did you have sex with him?
So it started off, see, foreplay, people.
Okay.
We went, so I actually invited him to come over to we were the only 2 people in Denny's, and I'm like, dude, are you okay? You want to come sit with me? I'm Hawaiian, so that's pretty natural, okay? And because he's Mediterranean, he's like, oh yeah, not a big deal.
So he's at his spot, he's eating his grand slam. And
no, he passed out.
He was sleeping.
He was like...
Okay, so he was sleeping.
And because he's a rancher and he's a lone wolf.
Wait, he's a what? Wait, hit me with that again. That lone wolf. Well, go ahead, hit me with that.
I can't.
One more again.
I can't. When I start laughing, it's gone.
Okay, so look, quit with me. So the man is in Denny's, knocked out, sleep.
He is.
You wake him up.
No, I didn't.
Hey.
Okay. No. Okay, first of all, he was like, he knew it was me from my voice because I was singing in Espanol. That's not my native tongue.
All right. So you invite him over. He comes over to your
I was
Denny's
like
booth.
doing my singing whatever to the guys over there, and then I'm like, hey, you wanna come sit? And he's like, yeah, shoots. Just like, just like keep each other up in Denny's because it's 5 a.m. on the street.
Right.
This girl should not be walking.
Okay, so then y'all both kicking it in Denny's. Then
yeah,
what?
and then I'm like, see, ladies, be very, very careful. Do not do this at home, okay? Unless you're walking with the Lord. Right. I was like, do you need a place to stay? Like, I have an extra bed. It's like, and I'm like, because of who I am, I know 95% of the time, I can figure out who's or who's not. So I was like, do you need a place to stay? I have an extra bed. And it was like, yeah. And then I was like, I actually need help. Like I need you to like stabilize me because I'm about to fall over because I'm dehydrated. I'm lovesick.
Were you dehydrated from alcohol?
No, your girl is sober as fuck all the time. Okay. The only thing I need is my baby.
Okay, all right.
Because everything about him is intoxicating, except when he says his corny shit. I'm like, baby, that's the biggest turn off. Go away.
Okay, so he didn't even ask for a place to stay. You're like,
no, I invited
him. I got
him.
a spot. Okay,
I invited him in.
So y'all go back to y'all spot. Then what?
Yes, and then because he's from basically like Egypt.
Okay.
I was like, oh my gosh, can you give me a massage? Like that's normal.
Girl, you was trying to get that thing.
No, I wasn't. I was not.
Quit playing with me.
No, I was not. I had.
Can you rub this?
No, here's the other thing. I had gotten a massage earlier in the week, and so all of the trauma that I hold within my body, right?
You think I could, I could probably were you naked during the massage?
It eventually got there. It didn't start off that way.
Okay.
It was like, I had my pants
Shout
on.
Shout to Isaiah. He says, bring back yes or no questions.
Did you fuck him? Yes, I did.
Right.
Okay, here's the thing. Because he's Ethiopian,
right?
Because he's Mediterranean, right? So in Ethiopia, bro, women run the world over there. So he trusts women, and I trust nobody. I can't trust men, and I can't trust women. And so he would just like say random stuff. He's like, wow, your body's actually really nice. Oh, thanks. I'm like, that's a compliment. That's cool. Because, right, here we go. We're going back to the childhood. Daddy didn't tell me I was pretty when I was growing up.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you
So your girl get daddy issues.
You think it's important for fathers to tell their daughters that they're beautiful?
Fathers. It is very, very, very important to affirm your daughter's beauty and identity in a healthy way, because if you do not, she will go to every boy of the world. And I've been a boy crazy person since I was like 5.
Okay, so you've been boy crazy since you were 5, but
however,
you claiming you ain't never got that thing worn out till a week ago.
Correct.
With a guy you met at Denny's.
Correct.
Who was homeless, and you was like, look,
he's not homeless. Oh, I forgot this part. Sorry. I didn't know that he was a street performer. So, then he's like wheeling around his stuff, and I'm like, what the f*** is this?
Wait, what is he? What's his?
He plays the saxophone.
Okay. Oh, y'all might as well mess around and form a duo. You know, you could sing, he could play the sax.
I'm like, baby, come on! You're missing a showgirl queen. And I'm like, I got it. Like, let's do something, right? Veterans Day this weekend, okay? Okay, everybody, my baby plays outside Bellagio Square.
Okay.
Okay, and he's one sexy ass mofo.
Okay, so basically, you said, hey, can you massage me? He was like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so he's massaging you, and then how you end up butt-ass naked.
Well, because he understands like holistic, like Eastern medicine.
Okay.
It was like, okay, now everything has to come off. And he's like, And so because he's him, like, he's basically shirtless like the whole time. Because it's like because I get along with men like way better than women, because they be afraid of me. They're either intimidated, they're jealous, or they're just like, holy, we're the same, and that's too much energy. And I actually have friends that are like, we're a little too toxic, so I need a break.
You know what was crazy though? How you went from telling us how he got you naked, like how do you?
Because everything is connected in my brain, okay?
No, that's amazing.
And also, I have not slept since like I have been awake since like 8:30 yesterday morning. So you're getting a lot of filtered raw. Okay, sorry. Back to the D. So right, you have to depending on how you are. You have to apply a lot of pressure. And actually, boys, listen up. Massaging is actually really important, especially if your girl is on her period, okay? Because there's just a bunch of...
You were on your period when he was massaging you?
No, I was actually supposed to get my period that week, but I never got it because I was stressed out and...
Got you. Shout out to Isaiah. He writes, is she from the Blade? She is not from the Blade.
Oh, what the f is that?
As far as I know.
I don't even know what that is.
So he's massaging you, and then what does he say for you to end up stripping down to your birthday suit?
He had to, so he did, because he's a very traditional man, the small towels had to cover, right, the top and the bottom.
Oh, so you had towels on when you were getting the massage?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was basically like I went to the spa, but I didn't have to pay for that shit.
All right, okay, so you were already naked off rip, and then you had the towels on.
Yeah.
So then he just whipped the towels off.
And then it just kind of, I was like, oh, and he was like, this is Andrew. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? And I'm like, I've never been kissed. I've never been touched. Your girl is like plain Jane, okay? And ain't nothing wrong with that. And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm just like, I could not stop.
You could not stop what?
The night.
Okay.
And it was like, holy.
Okay, and keep it real with your boy. He went in there raw, didn't he? Straight raw. Quit playing with me. Quit looking around. That went in there raw.
No, sorry. I had to think. The only reason I had to think is because we have been inseparable since, except for the last 3 days. I literally had to call the Pope. I'm like, my boyfriend's missing. Please go find him. And
it was like, hell no. But
so there was another time I was like, we had to use a condom because.
You said on the other times?
Oh, there was only one time we had a condom. The thing is because here's the thing. Okay, wait, PCOS. Right. Because I have PCOS, my womb, and because he knows shit like this, he was like, yeah, your womb is actually too small, so you will have a hard time having kids.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's great because I have been a mom since I was 12 years old.
You've been a mom since you was 12 years old?
I have been momaging my friends, everything. I was the first person to get my license. Party bus, hey, who needs a ride home? You better text me when you get into your house, even though I see you.
Shout out to Vernell. He just became a member at thesassin.com. And for those of you who want the Black Box on audiobook, I've heard a number of people asking me about that.
Learn all this shit about podcasts.
Thesassin.com or Marquettdavon.com. Okay, great. Saints, we're going to go ahead and wind down pretty soon, so I'll give you guys a little bit of time to send in your comments, questions.
So cute, you call them saints.
Yeah, so send in your comments, questions as we wind down. I know you might have some burning questions.
Of course they're going to have them burning questions because it's a hilarious story.
Oh, my goodness, my goodness. You know what? Have you ever been homeless?
Technically, I'm homeless right now.
You know what? I've been homeless before too, in Vegas.
Actually, I slept in my car in my grandma's carport.
You slept in your car, parked in your grandmother's carport.
Yes.
Does your grandmother live in like a senior-only community or something?
No, she just lives out on the west side.
Of Vegas?
No, Oahu. That's where most of my family is from.
Okay.
So she has a carport, and I'm like, this Here's the thing that my parents didn't understand. They don't understand that no means no and space means space.
Okay.
So it was like, stay away from me. But what happened to you? I said, stay away from me. I had to call the cops. I'm like, I can't deal with your stress, because any stress that you have, because I'm so emotional all the time, I will hold that within my body. Like, ugh.
Have you ever had any experiences with women?
No. I'm hetero as
Word. Okay.
Women are very beautiful. And here's the thing, because I'm a fashion merchandiser, I be looking at everybody's bodies all the time. Because I'm evaluating, because it is important to dress for your body type. Not based on what the fuck is trendy. Trendy is fine. I ain't got nothing against trends.
What do you think about fat models?
We love fat models. Also, we shouldn't even be called fat.
You said we love fat models.
Everybody is beautiful because your body can tell your story. And to the creative people of the world, you know what the is going on with me.
Do you have any tattoos or just what you draw on?
I would love to get tattoos, but that's forever. And my baby probably
You know,
won't.
that's fascinating that you're wise enough to know that that's probably...
Well, and I'm like, I'm testing it out. I had actually ink box. My friend was like, you can get fake ones and test them out. I'm like, really? So lilies are my favorite flowers, and I really wanted something like over here, or like, I'm just like, I just don't know like where to get it. I'm like, I didn't think I had endurance, and I'm like, the last year of my life has been total hell. And I'm like, people, I am the most patient,
well, you know what?
enduring
So as
woman you will ever
we're
meet.
winding down
Yes,
right
wind
now, if you wanted to give some life advice for people that would make their lives easier, more happy, what would you tell them?
Tell everybody to off. Okay. Okay. Depending on where you are, and you're actually, rule number 1, don't be afraid to fail. Okay. Everybody, especially men, you are afraid to fail, to let somebody down. Or women, if you are the breadwinner in your family, you're afraid to fail. But failure is just an opportunity to either learn from something or to revamp whatever. I'm like, I believe that everything
Don't
happens
be afraid to fail
for a reason.
What other piece of advice would you give?
This is for anybody in the corporate world. My one tip that I used to always tell the people who shadow me is like, depending on your learning style, you're either kinesthetic, auditory, or visual. And I'm all 3. Shit. That's right. Music, okay. I'm like, bro, I should have been in band. I want to play the drums. I want to play the ukulele. My hands are too small to play the guitar. So ukulele, mandolin, whatever. Right. And you can actually tell when kids are little. Like,
well, now we're about to wind out. Let me give you something.
Yeah.
Since I've been asking all these questions and getting your life perspective.
Yeah.
We have a 3-sentence Bible. I heard you mention Jesus a few times.
Oh,
so we got a
yes.
3-sentence Bible, which is number 1, be yourself. Number 2, be good to yourself.
Oh, yes.
Number 3, be good to good people.
Yes. Right. I do not care about being famous. I don't care about money. I literally don't have my own income, but because of who I am and who I'm connected with, I am being taken care of.
There you go. Well, peace to the saints. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate you. You know, you are our number 1 first inaugural interview in this series. So, yes.
Is there like, what series? Are you actually doing like some sort of series?
Yeah, I'm going to do a series. I want to find a clever name for it, but to start
I got clever names for lots of shit.
I believe
Check my notebook. we can figure it out.
But right now I have a filler name. But yeah, we want to find a real clever name for it to get these real life stories. Maybe we'll call it Real Life Stories.
No, that's too on the nose. I got a whole list. Okay?
You got a whole list.
I mean, because when the ideas be flowing, I'm like, oh, right, got to get it out. So to make room for new ideas.
All right, maybe we should close this out. We say goodbye within this thing of ours. We just say peace to the saints. So if you tell the folks peace to the saints, we'll go ahead and end this.
Yeah. Okay, do I do that
let me see. I think you are here on camera 1.
Okay. How do I sign off? Actually, if I had my own podcast.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, so stupid. Signing off, this is yours truly, Simply Shay. Peace to the saints.
Peace to the saints.